Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Hit the like button and make sure you are subscribing. Some big stories to talk about this afternoon, including Lewis-Skelly and the weird, strange abuse and hate that he is receiving, plus a reaction to the overlap and talking about the 115 charges. As you can see, I'm joined by Callum from Coppish TV. How are you, mate?
Not too bad, bro. It's been a minute, man. How are you?
I know. Yeah, mate, I can't complain. I could, but I won't.
Yeah,
it's one of them ones, you know what I mean? It's first world problems as well, mate. But all good indeed. And make sure you guys go and check out Coppish TV right now. The best Liverpool platform on social media, 110%. I wanted to start off with, it's England based and it is Arsenal based as well. We've all seen the squad come out. Of course, there's reasons to be skeptical, to challenge a few, Jordan Henderson being in it, Walker being in it. We all got that. But the abuse that young Lewis-Skelly has received, I find strange. And I'll give you some examples here up on the screen. You know, you've sort of got this 26 games for Arsenal, 2 red cards. He got called up for England. Tuchel is just as bad as others that we've had. 5 minutes. Pick players on form as if he's not been good. There's something just about him I quite dislike. You can see here. There are others. I've tried making a case for him, but if I can't help, I don't like this guy. What a helmet. There are others that are far more sinister, saying they want to punch him, they want to beat him up. He looks like a horrible person. He looks like a thug. The abuse of Lewis-Skelly, considering he's done nothing wrong, it's his first call up. He hasn't let England down. He hasn't been caught doing a madness in a nightclub. He hasn't been arrested for anything. Where do you think this hate for him stems from, bro?
So maybe a bit of it Arsenal, maybe a bit of it because he's young and rich, and just people just can be really envious. There's always going to be the undertones of racism with some people as well. So that's kind of comes with the territory now, unfortunately. I know I shouldn't be normalizing it, but it just kind of is what it is at this point. You're not going to change some people's opinions. What annoys me with this is, as you said, he's not done anything wrong. Yeah, the 2 red cards he picked up, but he picked up 2 red cards. I mean, how many players over the years have picked up red cards? Gerrard used to pick up red cards. Roy Keane used to pick up red cards. Scholes used to pick up red cards. Some of the greats picked up red cards. I'm not saying Skelly is one of the greats, by the way. I'm just saying he's picked up red cards just like others did. I just find it annoying because a lot of people sit there and go, oh, the mental health of these players, the mental health, and then you'll get these same said people abusing them online. I've never understood what drives someone to pick up their phone or go on their laptop and abuse someone who might never see the message. I don't understand it. If I dislike something or someone, I'll just stop tuning into it. I'll stop watching it or I'll stop engaging with it. That actually hurts people more than abusing them because they're losing out. But for whatever reason, well, not for whatever reason, I think it's to do with, he plays for Arsenal, or Arsenal obviously have a lot of hate from rivals. He's young and rich. It's just a shame. It really is a shame.
Mate, it's crazy. There's a couple of other examples, right, that I'm going to put up for the viewers here on the screen. So you see this here. It says main character syndrome, massive, see you next Tuesday. But as you said, you literally look at this guy's profile. Mental health advisory role. It staggers me.
It's like crazy.
Lewis-Skelly has had a phenomenal breakthrough season. He's an excellent player.
Yeah.
People keep talking 2 red cards he had. One of them got rescinded.
Yeah.
Right? So it's 1 red card, and it was for pulling a man down for a goal-scoring opportunity. Yeah. He's not stubbed a cigar out in someone's eye. He's not punched someone in the face. He hasn't recklessly broke anybody's legs. As I say, he's not out on the road doing a madness. He's not in clubs doing balloons, getting drunk, getting caught with illegal substances. You know, he isn't doing anything wrong in any capacity, but yet there is a demographic of people that hate on this guy. And as you've said, there is definitely a percentage that is due to this being a young, successful black man. 110% that exists. Yeah. There is another percentage where I think it's connected to Arsenal. And I feel that, and I know neither of us are Arsenal fans, but I do look at it and I just think to myself, I don't remember the last time a young player from any background was picked for the England squad this young and was absolutely abused like this just for them turning up. Because look, Mainu, when he was picked, I don't remember him he wasn't getting this kind of abuse. He was getting love. Rashford, when he got into the squad, that they've both had subsequent abuse. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. And we of course there's racism, and those people will attack anyone of that background and demographic. But I just feel this a big percentage of this also is a massive Arsenal thing. A huge, oh look, the guy that did that. I mean, look at the Haaland celebration and the airtime that rolled
everyone up. I'm like, this is football. When did football become so robotic? Like, who wasn't it? So Saka played against you guys and scored a goal against you guys, and he did the Rashford celebration. Yes. Remember he did that?
Yeah.
No one said a word about it.
No one.
It was just a bit of fun between two friends who are both played for the international team, both friends probably outside of football, and they probably just had a little banter about it. Skelly, obviously, and Haaland. Well, Haaland and Arsenal, obviously, they haven't got a good relationship. So yeah, he scored a goal. Haaland's been saying what he said, and he's thought, yeah, I'm going to take my celebration. I'm going to do it. Who cares? Like, what harm is it doing,
mate? Do you know what it is for me, right? And maybe it's because we're from the South, and we support Man United and Liverpool, but we're from the South, and we were at school with Gooners. We were at school with all different fan bases.
Yeah,
this is how football's always been. You all laugh and you banter each other. I do find online that Arsenal get a level of criticism and abuse sometimes, which is almost unparalleled in the sense of over trivial things.
Yeah.
So I get, right, if a club's caught cheating, the club's going to get a lot of stick. If something heinous and hideous has gone on at a club, it's going to get called out for it. But how many times have we seen Arsenal win big games and they're slagged off for celebrating, slagged off for having a good time? Yeah. And then every other club is kind of like celebrated that they're doing it a little bit. I do say this a lot of the times online, and Liverpool fans give me the most stick for this when I say it's because people are scared of Arsenal. I ain't scared of them. They mean nothing to me. Well, then you agree with me. It's weird that people say Arsenal mean nothing. They're not a rival because they don't win. They're not a rival because they don't win titles. But then every time they do something, you're there nipping at their heels and rattling you. You're either bothered by them, which makes sense why you're reacting this way, or you're not. And that's the element I enjoy. I don't like the way they've spoke about Lewis-Skelly in any capacity. But what the element I do enjoy is when people are challenged. Why is it that Arsenal players bother you? No, they don't. I don't care about them. It's bullshit, mate. It's the lie that I enjoy watching people tell. It's like, just admit they're a rival. They're a team that's challenging. They've rattled you for a few years because they've been better than you expected. But I suppose they're just not able to admit it. And because they haven't admitted it for years, it's almost like it's getting worse. And maybe that's why now we're seeing this treatment of someone like Skelly.
I'll tell you straight, bro. For us on Coppish, we do give Arsenal stick. But we do it because we get a lot of Arsenal fans who are friends of ours who give us stick. So we almost do it as a banter thing. There are times where we've probably gone overboard with it. But on the whole, it's always banter. It's always, we're going to get them because these Arsenal fans have been getting onto us the last few weeks when we drop points. At the end of the day, anyone who doesn't think that Arsenal are a threat in this league is crazy. I predicted Arsenal to win the league this season. I thought they would have won it. Obviously, they're not going to now, but it's not like they're fifth or sixth. They're second in the league. For the third season in a row, they'll finish second in the league. So if we sit here and act like they're not a credible threat now and in the future, then it's kind of absurd, to be honest.
But I think that's the thing. People always come to me and go, Terry, you're trying to stop people having banter. I'm like, no, I'm trying to stop banter becoming serious analysis.
Abuse, and abuse.
And banter becoming abuse. And I think it becomes abuse when you make when a professional pundit talks about celebrating after a massive win as though it's disgusting. I think it encourages people to say, well, that's bad behavior, so I can really criticize them heavily. That goes unchecked, and that heavy criticism over trivial matters that shouldn't be criticized always becomes abuse. It always goes to that next level. So am I surprised to see, listen, as we've said, there's always going to be this percentage of people that don't like to see a young, wealthy, successful black man happy, and they'll always be there as much as we'll all push against it. The rest of this is just a side effect of the unadulterated, ridiculous level of criticism that Arsenal have been put through. I look at this; they've been criticised more this season in some respects than teams that have absolutely fallen off and collapsed. Teams that were in the title race, and now that maybe they won't even make the top four. They've had more criticism. which I've always found strange. But viewers, look, we'd love to get your opinions on this. Why do you think there's been so much hate towards Lewis-Skelly? What do you think the rationale is? Let us know in the comments section below. Up next, this is a clip from the Overlap talking about the 115. Let's take a look. We haven't actually listened to this yet, so we don't even know what we're going to be saying, but let's take a little listen.
You don't actually think you're not guilty.
No, I do.
No one does. No one does. You don't genuinely believe that Man City. The only reason you. What do you know about it? I know a lot about it.
Well, there was always talk that the verdict would come out in March. If you found guilty, what would be a fair punishment for you, do you think?
It's not a black or white. Are we guilty or are we not? Some people might see it like that, but there's so much going on. There's going to be, there's a tiered approach to this. It's going to be something goes wrong, something goes right. I think I could see us getting a hefty points deduction. We could end up. I don't quite think we'll end up in the Championship next year, but we could find ourselves definitely out of Europe. There could be a big fine. I don't think anyone here knows.
Thought you've done nothing wrong.
I know. The question. This is what politicians do. He said, "What about if the verdict comes back guilty?" I'm not going to say, "Well, we're not guilty." I personally don't think we're guilty. I think we're going to be found not guilty. But if, like you said, if we are guilty, that's now what we're talking about. So
you don't actually think you're not guilty.
No, I do.
No one.
No one does. No one does. The only way that they get this off, what?
I'm confident.
I know you said that last time, that you're confident. You don't genuinely believe that Man City. The only reason you. What do you know about it? I know a lot about it. I've read, you did that joke last time as well.
But if you're watching Salah take a penalty, do you genuinely believe he's going to score the penalty?
Yes.
You're the only reason.
And why is that? Why is that? Why is that though? Why do you think Salah's going to score the penalty?
But what's that got to do with it?
Because you've seen it, right? So I've seen the board time and time again prove me right that they've done the right thing. We had the Champions League thing, and that's the logic there.
That's what sports washing is.
Well, all I'm saying is decision after decision. You look at the way they've come in, the way they've invested. Everything's gone right for me. Every decision they've made, bar the Super League, has gone.
My point is, it's fine.
What do you make? What do you make of that? Obviously, they're pressing him and they're trying to put him on the spot. It is expected at some point in the next month or so the verdict comes out. My question is: do you think City fans are confident that they're innocent and believe they're innocent, or do you feel they're confident their lawyers will win? Because that's what I heard there.
Yeah. I think they're confident the lawyers will win. I think City are guilty, but they won't be proven guilty, if that makes sense. I think everyone knows what they've done. It's just a case of proving it. And look, I've had a lot of stick because I've been speaking about this since like 2020. Because when the pandemic happened and everyone else was making a loss, they were the only team to make a profit. Man City aren't the biggest club in the world. Real Madrid are. Barcelona are massive. Man United are massive. Liverpool massive. Bayern Munich massive. All of our clubs didn't make a profit, but Man City did. There was no fans going to stadiums or nothing, but they made a profit. It didn't add up. You look at some of the other things they've done over the years, even the whole Champions League thing. Everyone keeps on saying they were proven guilty. They weren't proven guilty. UEFA just ran out of time. There's a big difference. UEFA ran out of time. They were guilty. They just ran out of time. I think Man City's lawyers will do what they need to do. And look, that's the job of a lawyer who's representing someone, is to get them the verdict or the decision that they desire. What annoys me is things like this are going to get swept under the rug, and then you're going to get other teams now who do similar in the future, and it's not going to change what football should be. I'm not sitting there saying that because you've got owners who are rich, you can't spend more money. I'm saying it has to be justifiable though. You can't sit there and say you turn over a profit because you're making up fake sponsorship deals and then sit there and go, no, we're innocent. We know exactly what you're doing. It's sports washing. It's been sports washing for the longest amount of time. And the fact there are 115 charges, I mean, we say there's no smoke without a fire. This is the bloody fire. 115 charges. What is it? In fact, it's 130 charges, I think, now. So it's like, I don't think they'll have any reprimands, but they should. I don't think anything will happen. And the reason I don't think anything will happen is because if they get found guilty, the Premier League looks like one of the most corrupt organizations in the world. Not just that, you'll have other teams who will go, well, Liverpool, for example, will sit there and go, well, they beat us to 2 Premier League titles by a point. If they weren't cheating, there's an argument to say we would have won those Premier League titles. Arsenal can sit there and go, they beat us to a Premier League title by a point. If they weren't cheating, we could have won that league. You have other teams who will go, well, they beat us in this penultimate game, which meant we got relegated and this team didn't get relegated. So the can of worms that would be opened if they get found guilty for me would be so much that the Premier League would have to do that I think they will just avoid doing it because it will paint them in such a negative way.
Do you know the one of the biggest things for me in all of this, right? When all things are said and done, City have said they have unequivocal, undeniable, complete proof they're innocent. And I really hope that in this hearing they provided that. I really hope they're not leaving it down to the interpretation of a group of judges to say whose side they're falling on. And the reason I say that isn't in defense of City or the Premier League. It's from someone who wants the truth. And what I mean by that is if the judgment comes in either direction this is, and the judgment comes in and says, we've sided in favor of the Premier League because City couldn't prove the allegation wasn't true, or we've sided in favor of City because the Premier League couldn't prove beyond reasonable doubt that their claim was true, that's where I think we're in a messed up position. Because if City are found guilty through that method, they'll say, but they never proved us that we did it wrong. Because again, it's a civil matter. And in civil matters, you don't need to, it's not like in criminal law where there has to be like a huge burden of proof. They might just side in favor of who they think's more likely. The problem with that is, as fans, we never get the answers. We never get the truth about this situation. Equally, if they're found innocent or they win the case, but they've not been proven innocent, and the judges just say, look, City basically gave us no information. They just said, well, that isn't proof. That isn't proof. And we're siding with City because there's no proof that they've cheated.
Yeah.
City will say, well, we won, but the world of football will still say you are cheats. And for a lot of City fans, they won't care. City fans will say, I don't care at all. We won the court case. I think when people are honest, maybe alone, and they think about the way their club is viewed, like I know Man United are hated, but I know we're hated because of what we've achieved. I know we're hated because of what we've won. And I know that Liverpool fans for years, and Drifty does this the most on the Coppish. Yeah, but you only won because you were paying the refs. That's just that. I like that dig being thrown out there because we know that holds no truth. So what I'm really hopeful from this is that we get, whether it's City win or the Premier League win, I'm actually at a point where I don't care. I want the guilty party or the innocent party to come out. I want us to know this was proven to a higher level of scrutiny that they've done X, Y, and Z, or proven that they are innocent and the City provided all this documentation. Because the one thing that doesn't make sense to me, and it's hard to have this conversation with City fans because they get defensive. Yeah, this has just been released, and it shows kit and merchandise sales in terms of revenue by club in the world. This is up until March 2025. City come in 11th. They sell around 76 million pounds worth of merchandise a year, which is very big.
Yeah, but look at the disparity.
Look at the disparity between Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Barca, Liverpool, Man United, who are all selling double and more.
Even
Arsenal.
Spurs, bro. Even Spurs.
So my question is, again, this isn't a question to say they're guilty. This isn't a question to say you're cheating. It's almost, and I get City may not want to reveal this because they may have a business technique, they may have a sales technique that makes that would impress Jordan Belfort. But I want to know what they're doing to be able to, because again, the level of your sponsorship deals are typically a reflection of the eyes on your club. Yeah. So the eyes on your club, if they were more, as much as Real Madrid's, why are you not selling as much merch? Equally, how are you selling your sponsorship? How are you selling your endorsements to match those major clubs? Now, City will probably say, well, we're not going to reveal our secrets. Cool. There must be, and this isn't even a question to City directly.
It looks dodgy.
It looks dodgy, yes. And my question is this, to all the other club owners, all the other businessmen, salespeople, all the other owners of massive conglomerate, Elon Musk, all of them, how do you think City are doing this? And I say that because this is what I hope the conclusion of this court case does. Yeah. It gives us an answer. Okay, so they have less fans, but you know, at Chelsea, they spent loads of money because they amortized it over 8-9 years. And we all went, well, that makes sense why they've been able to spend that much money.
Yeah.
I want to make sense of it. If they're innocent, I'm not going to call them out. I'll say, fucking hell, that's brilliant business. I want to know how they're doing it. I'm more confused than anything else. It's strange.
This is my point, Terry. All right, so you just brought up the merchandise sales. There was 11th, I think you said, yeah, in that table.
Yes, 11th.
Match day revenue. I'm going to guarantee their match day revenue isn't close to Liverpool's, Man United's, Arsenal's, for example, or Real Madrid, Barcelona, or Bayern Munich. Then you look at kit sponsor. I don't think their kit sponsorship deals are probably the same as Real Madrid's, Barcelona, Bayern Munich. I'd even arguably say Man United, maybe Liverpool. You could maybe make some parity there. Those are three major income revenue streams.
So just very quickly on match day revenue, this was published as of 2024. Theirs is 2.1 million per game. It's more than Chelsea's because they've got 15,000 more fans.
Yeah.
But it's 800,000 less than Tottenham. It's 1 million less than Liverpool, 1 million less than Arsenal, and £2 million per game less than Man United.
Where is the money coming from, bro? Where are they getting all this? Where are they getting the freedom to spend that sort of money? It looks dodgy.
And for me, I'd also love to speak again. I understand why people say it looks dodgy. I absolutely get it when there's less fans, less shirt sales, less merchandise sales, less tickets being sold, less match day revenue, but the sponsorship deals are bigger than everybody else's. And I get their point. And look, there is an element there of it's still the Premier League. So you're getting Premier League eyes, and brands will say, well, it doesn't matter that City have less fans than Man United. They're a Premier League club. There's billions of people watching. We want our brand on that shirt. I do understand that. But with that same logic, with Man United and with Liverpool having greater size fan bases, why wouldn't those brands just say, well, it's more worthwhile being on their kits because they've got even more fans? And this has been my problem with the mainstream media's coverage of this conversation. City fans, by the way, I can already see the comments, even though we're recording this, going mad. I'm not calling City out. I'm asking for experts who know more than me to explain how this is possible. The problem is, and this isn't on City, I don't blame City at all, the mainstream media's coverage of this whole situation has been so poor. There's been barely any facts, any insight, any education for fans. And I think for me, that's why people have been left so frustrated and so confused, because how they have not taken all this data and then just had some financial experts and business experts sat down. Imagine what Sky could do. Yeah. Three or four very successful business people, some people that used to run football clubs, some ex-managers, maybe a few fans, and you get them in a room like the Overlap have done here, and you go 2 hours, we're going to break it all down and talk about it and have a conversation. Maybe by the end of it, everybody feels more relaxed. Maybe everyone feels more infuriated. Who knows?
Yeah.
But they haven't done that. Imagine for 5 years they've done a single piece of like in-depth content on how football clubs make money. Why is that sponsorship deal worth more than this one? How can that be the case? How can a club that sells 5 million shirts have a lower sponsorship than someone who's selling 2 million shirts? And why would that be logical? And we're not saying it isn't, but give us the insight, But viewers, look, we'd love to get your opinions on both these subjects.
Before you go,
go on.
What do you think would be an adequate? Let's say they got found guilty. What do you think a punishment should be? Because I think this is the.
Are we saying guilty of every? Are we saying guilty of everything?
Yeah, let's say he's guilty of everything.
They're guilty of all the big stuff,
or the majority of stuff.
For me, I don't believe in the relegating them per se. What I would, because I don't believe it's fair on the lower level clubs. I think they'll come up quickly, they'll take a position. I think they should be given something like say they get like a 90% point deduction, 90 points deducted, but you apply that sort of 20 odd points per season for like a 4-year period. So each season they're damaged. So they're not going to get relegated because they're City. They can stay. Because what I don't want to see happen is the club go out of business either. Because that's not fair on the fans. They haven't cheated, right?
Of course. And the staff there as well.
You staff everything. So maybe what you do is you go, right, 100-point deduction, and it's going to be 20 points per season for the next 5 years. That way, League One, League Two, they don't have to sort of have this giant club suddenly turn up and just blow them all out the water. Maybe some kind of transfer ban. I'm in an R in whether I think as well, if they've cheated and the cheating is to a level where it's like, wow, they should never have had that squad. Say it turns out they could never have afforded their squads that won those league titles in that period, I would probably look at stripping them as well, if they're guilty to the highest degree, as an example, because that's probably what I would do. I wouldn't necessarily award them out to other clubs like some people want. I would just say, but 100%, I would turn around.
I'm giving you that. I want extra parades, Terry. I'm not going to lie.
No, I hear you. But I would probably strip the trophies, 100-point deduction, but then divide it over 4 or 5 years so that it's very unlikely they win the league, but they can still keep the club alive. As an example, the club won't go bankrupt, because I think if they get chucked down to League Two and then get sued and everything else, they're going to go out of business. They're going to go bust, and I don't think the fans deserve that personally. And I want to say if, because there'll be again angry fans in the comments. If they're guilty, that would be wrong.
Yeah.
Me personally.
I hear it.
Listen, everyone who has tuned in, hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribing. Get the bell notification turned on as well, and go and check out Coppish right now. Amazing Liverpool channel. It really, really is. Cal, always a pleasure to sit and talk football with you, mate. Until next time, everyone, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you soon. Peace.